Welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And this is Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Simple Wishes. The Simple Wishes Stages bra is truly revolutionary. It transforms from an everyday wire-free regular bra to a nursing bra and then back again. And we'll hear more from our sponsor later, but you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Check out our sponsor page if you ever need anything. See if you can give them any of your business because they make this podcast possible. While you're there, scroll down, enter your email address, and we'll send episodes straight to your inbox every week. And we're on Patreon. So check the top link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and see if there is a tier that looks good to you. We would love to see you over there, and that is a great way to support the podcast if you are able to. And we are still hosting our ongoing giveaway as well for people who leave reviews around the internet. So take a screenshot and send your screenshot along with your address over to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com. We're also opening it up to people who are sharing the podcast. If you share it with your Facebook friends or share it on Instagram or something, that's the whole point, is for you to share it and get the word out and send us a screenshot of that. And we'll send you a goodie bag of podcast stickers and thank you for nursing in public cards. And now Dianne has our review of the week.
I do. And it's from a longtime breastfeeder. I started listening to this after I've been breastfeeding for multiple years and still love it just the same as if I was new to it. So many helpful reminders and tips. And I love this because she's right. Like you can get so many little tips and reminders. And even if you are like a seasoned breastfeeder, there's always something that you can pick up, right? Like there's always something that you can hear that you're like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Or, this, because you just don't know. And we've had people that have emailed in that they, listened for their first baby, stopped listening, and then started listening again to get that refresher so that they can get the reminders of, what to do with a newborn. And that works out really well too. Like you can always... stick with us and
some validation too. Oh, you know what I want to say? Yes. I want to say something. Okay. So I know some people have talked about a drop-down menu on our website, with categories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, people, that's like thousands and thousands of dollars to have us put in a drop-down menu. But what you may not know, and what I'm going to tell you now, is that if you go to our website, badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, let me get there myself. And you go to, where is it? Oh, and you click on the menu, click episodes. If you're on your phone, if you're on a computer, the search bar is right at the top. If you're on your phone, the search bar is at the bottom of the episodes page. And you can just put in, search whatever you're looking for. Yeah. Tongue ties or sleep or, just search. And then you will get episodes to come up that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do when I'm searching for an episode.
Me too. Yep. Yeah. Somebody will message me and I'm like, all right, they should hear this episode. And then I'll go through and try to find it.
Yeah. But if you're just looking for something, that'll take you forever because we got hundreds of episodes. So use the search. Yeah, use the search and find what you need.
And then the drop-down menu is just tricky because there's so many episodes that go into multiple categories. And then you're just categorizing things and they're categorized by keywords. So you just type in the keyword and you'll find it.
Yeah. You can always email us too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, find what you're searching for. We've got it, more than likely. But that is a perfect segue because today we're going to talk about breastfeeding after a year. And this review came from a longtime breastfeeder who has been breastfeeding for probably way longer than a year. So we're going to talk today about some of the benefits that go along with breastfeeding after a year.
Yeah. And this question, we have a question, and this one comes from, she has a 10-month-old. And she is wondering things. She said, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I heard that at 1 year, babies need to stop using a bottle and transition into a cup. A bottle of breast milk is part of our bedtime routine before I nurse him to sleep. Do we change the bedtime routine completely, or do we use a cup of breast milk at bedtime starting at 1 year? Second question, while I was on maternity leave, I made a stash of milk for when I went back to work. I've been back at work for 5 months now, and we are nearing the end of the stash already, which I have a lot of feelings about. I plan to breastfeed for as long as baby needs it and wants it, but I'm wondering, should I go back to pumping to build up the stash again? Is the stash needed after a year? I'm not even sure what breastfeeding looks like after a year, assuming it's 3 meals a day of solids and breastfeeding on demand, but this is my first baby, so I'm not sure. And those are some great questions.
Those are some really great questions, because I really feel like that's how a lot of people feel when they hit this time, when they're getting close to a year. I've done lots of consults with mothers who are like, what do I do now? What is this going to look like? When is the baby going to eat? What do I do? And the thing with the bottles, that really screws people up.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, you get to, you're breastfeeding a newborn and then an older baby. And like, you're hearing all of the rules and all of the advice and all of the, things that you should be doing, the way your body's acting. And a lot of it changes at a year.
Mm-hmm.
So like some of the stuff that you hear, you're like, oh, I really need to do this. And then like suddenly at a year, you don't. So it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's actually a really awesome time for breastfeeding, because a lot of the strict like rules and a lot of the like, keeping up your milk supply and a lot of this kind of stuff that you really need to be doing, like you're so established at this point, and then your baby turns a year and a lot of the like kind of quote unquote rules of their like bodies and their needs changes. And it just becomes like a much freer time.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. I really liked breastfeeding, toddlers, and because you can just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, there's no rules.
I mean, we will certainly explain whatever means, but
yeah. So her first question was about the bottle.
Yes.
And this does come up because, especially when you're a working parent and your baby is getting bottles throughout the day, this definitely is a concern. And then your pediatrician usually says, okay, no more bottles after a year, but they don't really tell you, like, at least people come to, I'm sure there are some pediatricians out there that will talk to their patients about like what to do and getting rid of a bottle. But we do have a lot of people that come to us and say, what do I do now? I was told not to give a bottle anymore. So you're not supposed to give bottles anymore because of their teeth. So especially going to bed with a bottle, that's a big no-no. And you want to try to get them off that bottle at a year, because that's just whatever, all the transitions are happening, right? So we're trying to get your baby off a bottle and get them onto a cup. I would start that process sooner rather than later, because sometimes it can take a little while for your baby to figure out how to work a cup. So I would start that process now. And you could do a cup of breast milk at night. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's part of your routine, you don't have to change your whole routine just to get around the whole bottle thing.
That's my thing. I would have a really hard time with this, because if a bottle is a part of like a really good bedtime routine, messing with a bedtime routine would be really hard for me.
Yeah. But you got to do it. Your kids didn't have bottles.
No.
My kids really didn't have bottles either. They really didn't do too much with bottles. So I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to bother with that.
Yeah.
But it can be really tricky for people that are kind of counting on bottles several times a day, trying to figure out how to get your baby onto something different. And it really can take a little bit of time for them to figure it out. So you can start now. I mean, I know you said the baby's 10 months?
10 months. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you can start anytime doing a bottle, trying that a little bit here and there, or trying a cup. No, sorry. trying that here and there and seeing how they do. But that can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
But she said that she also breastfeeds at night. So they breastfeed and give a bottle of breast milk. That I'm not really sure about, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is about. They might just try skipping the bottle unless she feels like, I don't know, has some sort of sense that the baby needs more than she's making.
Okay.
But that might be just a situation where you could just skip the bottle.
Yeah.
You just go straight to the nursing to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably something they could do after a year, I bet you. So as far as pumping after a year, I'm happy to say that people do not have to pump anymore after a year, unless you really want to. Because I do have some parents who will continue the pumping after a year because the baby still takes breast milk, like at daycare during the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally up to you. That's totally, totally up to you how you're going to progress after a year as far as, are you going to start some other kind of milk? Are you just going to have your baby continue on with breast milk, not any other kind of beverage? Beverage, like they're cozying up to the bar, ordering
my adult beverage.
Whatever they're going to have. If they're just going to stick with breast milk, then you probably do have to, and they get, and you are a working parent and they get breast milk throughout the day, you're probably going to still have to continue on with pumping. But if not, you can stop that, which is really nice. That's a really nice benefit of your baby being over a year.
I never really pumped, but I'm so excited about that information.
It is pretty exciting.
Just so good. Yes.
Yeah.
To be able to stop pumping. That's just so nice.
It is really nice. So you don't have to start building a whole new stash again or anything like that. If you're getting close to the end of your stash, if you want to just have enough to get to a year, that's fine. But you don't need to, depending on what you're going to do after a year for what your baby's going to drink during the day while you're gone. And you don't have to go, because sometimes people say go to cow's milk or you have to have cow's milk. You don't have to have cow's milk. I have plenty of families that never did cow's milk. You don't have to do that. I know Abby didn't do cow's milk. I did because it was the thing to do, but nobody in this house drinks it anymore. And
yeah, we just didn't. I don't like it.
You don't have to. I don't like it either.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's a lot of milk out there. There's a lot of. How do you feel about water?
Fine.
Can a kid have a kid? Can this toddler, this 1-year-old, start having water at daycare, or do they need more?
No, they can do water at daycare. They can definitely do water at daycare. That's totally fine to do. Yeah,
you probably don't want to do just orange juice at daycare or something.
Right,
that's just really sugary and they don't need all of that.
Yeah, you can do water. You can do, it some kind of other milk. I've had families do ripple milk. Have you ever heard of that?
I feel like I have heard of that. What is that?
It's it's just a different kind of milk. And
made of what? Ripples?
Ripples. I don't know what it's made out of. I don't know.
I'm looking it up.
Are you looking it up? Okay.
I'm going to look it up. And I'm also going to say, I can't remember what I was going to say now. God damn it. Oops. Ripple plant milk. I know what I was going to say. Toddler formula.
Oh, don't do that.
That is something you do not need. Now, you need formula. If you're not breastfeeding, if you don't have donor milk, when you have a baby under a year, whatever, that's something that you need. You never need toddler milk.
No.
Never. It's just, that's a complete marketing ploy. And what the hell is Ripple milk made out of?
It doesn't say.
I can't find it. No, that's so weird. Where is it? About Ripple milk. Here we go. Ripple harnesses the power of the small but mighty yellow pea.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was
Okay.
pea.
So it's peas. All right. That's just another, like a soybean, an almond.
Yeah.
Pea.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
But I've had, like, especially my parents that don't give milk, that don't give cows milk, are usually the parents that are lactose intolerant themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That are like, we don't have it in the house. I don't give it. And it's like, you don't have to. You really don't have to. It's totally fine not to. And then what was her other question?
Other question was about let's see. While I was on maternity leave, I made a stash of milk. Should I start pumping again? And is the stash needed? I feel like you answered this.
Yeah, I answered that.
And then she went on to say, I'm not sure what breastfeeding looks like after a year, assuming it's 3 meals a day of solids and breastfeeding on demand. So I think that's a really good discussion, is just sort of like logistically what it looks like throughout the day to be like balancing, these solids and the breastfeeding, and how that looks different for different families. It's going to be completely different because some kids are really, really established on solids at this time, and some are barely even getting it in the mouth.
Right. And that's okay. Either one is fine. There's nothing wrong with either one of those things.
A lot of times we're at the pediatrician's office and they're like, oh, well, your baby really needs to be eating solids right now. You really need to be cutting back on the breastfeeding, so that they will eat more solids. And this is just insane to me.
Yeah.
Because you can't make a child eat solids before they're ready. Before they have to coordinate all of that. They have to learn how to swallow it. Some kids take to it quicker than others. And if you cut back on breastfeeding, now your baby just doesn't have a source of food, of nutrients. And that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not okay.
No.
So definitely what she said was really spot on. That if your baby is doing 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks, is kind of where what you're aiming for at a year, and then breastfeeding on demand. But breastfeeding on demand should be just what you're doing, regardless of where your baby is with solids. Breastfeeding on demand, you're still kind of doing that whole thing. And babies still, toddlers, whatever you want to call them at a year, are often still up during the night.
Well, and that's
just because they're doing solids doesn't mean they're going to sleep. I know people think the more that you feed them, the more they're going to sleep, but that doesn't necessarily true.
Yeah, and a 1-year-old to me is a baby.
That's what I think too.
That is a baby. Like you're not just like a baby at like 11 months and 30 days, and then the next day you're a toddler. Like this is not like. There's still. I remember my sister saying this too. Jack was a year, and we were all together for Christmas, and she was like, I would have thought that breastfeeding at a year was weird, but I look at him and he's just a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's true. Like, I don't know. The world thinks that 1-year-olds are like so old.
Yeah.
And they are not. Babies.
Still a lot happening there.
Yeah.
A lot developmentally happening. Mm-mm. No. So you want to definitely still continue to offer them solids like you do. If your baby is not taking them well, or they're taking their time getting them, you're still offering it, obviously. You're still giving it. You're still putting them at the table with you and giving them food, but still feeding on demand.
Yeah. And I always loved the advice. I know we have to take a break, but I always loved the advice of nurse first and then offer solids. Like you're about to have a meal, nurse, breastfeed your baby, and then sit them at the table to eat. They're not going to not eat because they're like full. If they want to eat, they'll eat. And then they're getting the, this most nutrient dense food that their body still needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after our break, I'm going to talk about how the milk changes,
Okay.
too.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by Simple Wishes. Simple Wishes is a small business in California, woman and badass breastfeeder owned. Listen, everyone, Dianne and I have had a chance to preview their bra and tank from the new Seamless collection. It is truly revolutionary. The Simple Wishes Stages bra transforms from an everyday wire-free regular bra to a nursing bra and then back again. This is truly a unique design that is genuinely better for your wallet and the planet. My dresser is a graveyard of abandoned nursing bras, shelf bra tanks, basically every bra off the Target rack. I am just so over all these bras that are uncomfortable, unsupportive, last about a year at best. That's why I'm so impressed with this patent-protected design. It's one bra that transitions with you through every stage. Simple Wishes has invested almost 2 years in developing this bra to bring it to you. And these new tariffs they need to pay for have thrown them for a loop, to say the least. But the bra is finally here. And Joy, the owner, along with her sister, remain committed to offering high-quality garments at an affordable price. And these bras and everything that they manufacture are very high quality. Like,
they are.
This is going to last through. It's going to last forever. It's not going to start to fray and stretch out and all that stuff like all of these other cheaper bras do. Check out the link in the show notes to simplewishes.com, and you can use code BADASS for 50% off of your order. So you need to check out their Seamless Nursing Bra and Tank collection and all of their other nursing. They have a whole collection of clothes that are really cute and awesome. So check it out, simplewishes.com, code BADASS for 50% off. And you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com to check out our sponsor page. You'll also find all of our resources, all of our other episodes, and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
So, milk. What happens to the milk at a year? Turns to water?
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks.
Which is so funny to me because you still need water, but whatever.
Very true.
Like, water is useless. We're like 70% water, but whatever.
I know. Don't give him water out of the breast. So your milk does change after a year, but it changes for the better. It doesn't change. Not that I shouldn't say the change for the better. The changes are beneficial to your baby because your baby is at a different stage at a year. And they are doing different things and they are in a different stage of growth, and your milk changes to accommodate that. And what can happen with it is it still gives them really high quality calories, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, everything that your baby needs. And it's going to complement their diet of what they're taking with solids. So your milk is going to accommodate for that. It also is very rich still in immune factors, which means that it's helping them to stay healthy. It's enhancing their immune system. It is really, really important that they have that because we know that toddlers are walking around touching all kinds of stuff and putting things in their mouth. So this is really helpful to keep them healthier. And babies that are breastfed after a year definitely have like less instances of things like ear infections and respiratory infections and stuff like that. So that is really important piece of it, that they're still getting that immune factor from you. It's the bioavailability of the nutrients. And what does that mean? That means that everything that they're getting, like the iron, the calcium, vitamin A, all of that stuff is highly bioavailable, which means that it's easily absorbed and utilized in their system. So we get the question about iron all the time. All the time, people ask us about iron. What do I do for iron? Because babies need more iron. There's not breast milk. There's no iron in my breast milk, blah, blah, blah. There is iron in your breast milk. It is not as much as the baby needs. However, that is why they have you start solids at 6 months, because of iron. But the iron that your baby is getting through your breast milk is bioavailable, which means that their body is using it better than it is iron that they're getting from outside sources.
Mm-hmm.
So it is way beneficial for your baby to still be getting breast milk because they're still getting iron and it's bioavailable for them. So the other thing that is really kind of cool is that the fat, like what's it called? I'm looking, I've got it here. Their fat content increases. So the breast milk, the fat content in your breast milk will increase. It becomes richer in energy and essential fatty acids to support the brain development and activity of your baby, which is really kind of cool too. It also will, your breast milk will actually like decreases a little bit, but what is there is higher in volume and higher in,
it's more nutrient dense.
Yes, more nutrient dense. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out. It's more nutrient dense, which means that they're just getting more from the little bit of milk that they are getting from you. They're getting more nutrients from that. So they're still getting what they need in smaller amounts, but they don't need big amounts because they're taking solids at this time. So it all evens out in the end and it's perfect. So you don't need to really worry about like, is my baby getting what they need from the breast milk because it's after a year? I was told that they don't get the same amount of vitamins and nutrients, that I need to do all these solid foods. No, they're still getting, it's very nutrient dense milk. They're still getting exactly what they need from you. And that's a really important piece because you do wonder, right? After a year, like, what are they getting? There's so much like misinformation out there about what happens after a year.
Well, yeah. And your body just naturally goes through all of these changes for your baby. And then we have people saying that they're not supposed to breastfeed after a year. And it's like, well, this is actual proof that they are designed and we are designed to breastfeed beyond a year. Because we're all designed to.
And the American Academy of Pediatrics has now changed their tune because it used to be a year, but now they're saying 2 years for breastfeeding. And they're saying 2 years for breastfeeding because the World Health Organization says 2 years for breastfeeding. So it is important enough to still breastfeed them through toddlerhood because the World Health Organization says that this is what babies need to survive and to get a good start in life. A good, healthy jump start in life is to get breast milk for as long as they possibly can.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's really important. And then plus, don't forget too, that bond that goes along with it. So your baby, I mean, think about it. This is all your baby has done since the minute they set foot on the planet, right? Like that's all they've done is breastfeed. And then all of a sudden we're going to take that away from them. Like this is all they know.
This is like, and breastfeeding becomes really like, by this time you are really set in your routine. You're really set in like how you use breastfeeding for different things throughout the day, like trying to make a phone call or when they trip and fall, or, certain routines throughout the day, trying to get them down for naps and get them to sleep and get them waking as minimally as possible at night, which I know people feel like they're not getting enough sleep and they're waking a lot because of breastfeeding, but that's not why they're waking. They're waking because they have to wake up. And you really do get more sleep when you just kind of nurse them back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just, I remember this being like a very fun time of breastfeeding when it was just, it was the solution to everything. It was so, it was just so built into our day, and it was so, we were just, and they're so independent now that they can even just they just ask you for it, or they come up and pull your shirt and help themselves, which so many people have opinions about.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And it's nice. They're like into it. They're enjoying it. And it's the solution to everything.
Now, what you just said, though, kind of triggers something for me when you said that, like, people have their own opinions about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are listening and you're like, first of all, if you're listening and your baby is a newborn, when my kids were newborns, I couldn't even fathom getting to a year, let alone beyond that. So take it a day at a time if you're a brand new breastfeeder. But if you are already close to a year and you're like, I don't want my baby to be asking me for milk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be done. That's embarrassing to me. I want to be done by then. Like, it is totally up to you. But we want people to know that there are benefits to breastfeeding after a year, that it's totally normal and accepted, and there are benefits to it. Your baby is definitely getting benefits to breastfeeding after a year. The milk is beneficial for them.
Yeah, you can start working on boundaries at this point too. If you don't like that, there's certain things that you don't like, then teach that to your child. Like,
that's a good point.
We don't pull on mommy's shirt or whatever, if you're not into that.
Only breastfeed at home, or whatever works for you. Whatever you want it to look like, you can make it look like.
Yeah. And we have those boundaries episodes where you're on how you can start working on that.
Yeah. And that can be really, that can save a breastfeeding relationship.
Yeah. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're like, this is too much, I just can't do this, I can't wait to stop, which is also fine. But you can make it whatever you want to make it. Cause now all those rules that we were talking about of breastfeeding, newborns and babies, those kind of go out the window now. And so you can start saying no when you need to. Mm-hmm. And, if there's a nursing session in the day or you just can't stand, you're just so annoyed that they want to nurse, I don't know, at a certain time of day, then maybe you just completely eliminate that nursing session altogether.
Yeah. I don't need it. Throw it out the window. Get rid of it.
Yeah. And a lot of people want to eliminate those nighttime feedings, which is a little more complicated.
Yeah, that's a whole different episode.
Yeah. We do. Start working on those boundaries during the day. If you want, because after a year, that's a good time, because then you might be moving on to another baby, and then you're going to be really happy that you'd started to establish some boundaries. Now rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. But you can make it look like whatever you want to after a year. But we just want you to know that milk is super beneficial for your baby, and they're still reaping a lot of benefits from getting that milk. And you can make it look like whatever you want it to look like. You don't have to pump if you don't want to. You can breastfeed them when you want to. Like, it is totally a new world.
It is.
Yeah.
Congratulations on making it there.
I know. Yeah. That's a pretty big deal. It's a lot. It's a lot of work to get to a year. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's really good. Especially when you're a working parent. I give you so much credit. When you're a working parent and you get to a year. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.